Hey, Manny.
Hey, Colin, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Your wife was fantastic because I watched it too.
Oh, did you? Oh, good.
Yeah, in front of Desi, and then they finally allowed.
Good evening, everyone, to our coast-to-coast audience for the March 9th Boyden Library Trustees meeting. We are short Joyce Parlapiano. I'm not sure if she's joining shortly. I've not heard anything from her. Chance, you heard, Joyce?
No, but I was going to just let you know, last week she was supposed to represent the trustees at our meeting, and she was having technical difficulties with her computer, so that, you know, maybe she hasn't got them resolved. Just that's a possibility.
Okay. Well, why don't we begin? And if we need to catch up, Joyce, we can certainly do that. So we are being 7 p.m. We are called to order, and we'll start with roll call of our trustees. Christine Igo Freeman. Here. I need to audibly say here. Technically, right, Pam?
Here.
There we go. Deb Stone.
Here.
Catherine Uden.
Here.
Kevin Penders.
Here.
And Colin Ernst here. We are at this moment, Joyce Parlapiano is absent. We also have Manny Leet, Pam Riccio, Janice Rosado from the Friends, and thank you to Foxborough Cable Access and Paul Beck for bringing us to geosynchronous orbit and broadcast around the world today. All right, so why don't we begin with any public input, Manny?
No public input.
At the start of the meeting, I'm going to offer my own public input and just say thank you to Deb for her years of service on the trustees and her years of leadership on the trustees. As I think folks on the trustees board know, and folks in public, Deb is not going to be pursuing re-election, understandably, but just such tremendous contributions to the forward motion, the progress of the library, and the energy and just cohesiveness of this group. So Deb, thank you so much for everything you've done throughout the 6 years that you and I have served together.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Thank
really
you so much,
appreciate
Colin. Yep, it was a tricky decision to make, but this year has just stretched me much too thin. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I come back in a year or two, but just it's time to open up a little space for the school stuff. So, you know, I've had a great time, lots of laughs and great, valuable stuff that we've done together. I really have enjoyed it. Thank you. Thanks for bringing it up.
We've got one more meeting to fully salute you next month before you're done. But I didn't want another moment in today's meeting pass without acknowledging that.
So, Colin, what you're saying is this is the beginning of the write-in candidacy for Deb Stone for re-election. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and all the viewers watching today, all 7 of you, can write her in. Just write Tom McGee.
That's right. See which one gets reelected.
All right. Anything else, public input or otherwise, before we want to move on?
Maybe not so much public input, but you invoked them, and I was going to ask to hold this to say this at the end, but I think it would be appropriate for us to take a moment and pay some respects here to Jim Monahan, who is Tom McGee's father-in-law, Lori McGee's dad, obviously, and Diane Monahan's husband. He passed over the weekend after a series of illnesses. And, you know, as those of us on this call know, Tom was a trustee with us for 9 years. Lori was a member of the executive board on the Friends, and Diane was both a member of the executive board of the Friends and at one point the head of library services for the Boyden Library. So if I just want to take a moment and note his passing, and also ask whether or not the trustees would whether or not it would be appropriate for the trustees to send along a note of condolences through the clerk.
First of all, thank you for acknowledging and sharing that, Kevin. I would absolutely be supportive of us sending our thoughts to the family, please. Everyone supportive of that? Any feedback? And Tom and Lori and family, we are thinking of you and our prayers.
They're all watching the school committee, Colin.
They'll watch it on the replay. This has great on-demand value. Okay, so why don't we move forward to our minutes of our last meeting. Some folks have had a chance to review the minutes. Thank you, Pam, for the minutes. Any corrections, comments, additions? Hearing none, if we can have a motion to approve the minutes. Thank you, Kevin. Second from, thank you, Deb. Any discussion? Okay, so vote to approval, go again, our roll call. Christine? Christine, do you approve?
Sorry, yes, I do.
Okay. Deb?
Yes, approve.
Thank you, Catherine.
Approve.
Kevin?
Yes.
And I approve as well. So 5-0-0. All right, Manny, any correspondence for us to discuss?
No correspondence.
No correspondence. Friends report. Janice.
Okay, first of all, I am in Vermont and are maybe having technical difficulties. I keep freezing, so I'm going to try to get through this. The main thing I want to talk about tonight was the drop-off book donations that we held a week or so, a little over a week ago. You got the report from Manny that Liz Leanne had put together. It went really, really well. They actually ended up adding a few people. They actually collected about 25 boxes of books after weeding out a few. We are back up with More Than Words. More Than Words picked up this week, and now we're on the schedule every 4 weeks. So that's going to help us for books that are a little bit older that we can't sell, and certainly at the end of the book sale. How they did it is because they had 5 people, it worked really well. They did like a high level sort, and then Manny graciously is allowing us to use the tutoring room. For the boxes, they can sit there and they quarantine for a week. And then the sorting team comes in and can take one box at a time into the sorting room, do the final sort. And that's worked really well because I guess when they first went in, we first had put all the boxes in the sorting room and there was like no room to move. So this is allowing us to be able to do that and adequately quarantine as well. Everything's labeled so people know when things are ready to come out of quarantine and go on the shelf. And then they get another quarantine on the shelf too. So, I mean, they're certainly getting plenty of time to sit. And we allow them to sit for a week before we touch them. So let's see. So the next thing is we wanted to come back and ask for us to be able to continue this every 2 weeks, starting this Saturday. So the dates would be March 13th, March 27th, April 10th, and April 24th. And we'd like permission to go forward with that. And the first one, we already have quite a few people on a waiting list. So for this weekend, if we do it, we'll do it like a direct appointment with them. After that, we'll open it up on Sign Up Genius for the one on the 27th. So I don't know if there was anything else on that. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Dennis, could I just add one thing?
Absolutely.
I did speak to the Saturday staff and asked how it went, if they had any issues, and they did not. They said everything went really well. They didn't have any concerns at all.
That's good. Janice, is the Sign Up Genius going out to the email list of the friends? How?
I think they were sending it out. I think they were sending it out to the Foxborough sales.
Oh, okay.
But
so anyone who's a member of the library, a library card holder.
I think so, and certainly if not, we would start with if they have done the friends. What if we start having spaces? Then we would open it up if we haven't already. I'm not 100% sure, okay. But I know they sent out an email blast. A lot of, I mean, like I said, we have, I think I have like this 20 slots set for the 13th. and I already have 21 names to call. So there's a lot of debate. And the other thing about it is they said that what they received was really what we were looking for, really good quality stuff. So we're really, really happy about that.
Any other questions? James, is there a point at which you may get more books than you can put out for the actual book sale? I know the book sale logistics are a bit different this year. I'm not sure if how is supply and demand matching up? Sounds like supply is great. Can you actually?
Well, yeah, we're taking the best of the best to either go out on our bookshop, for the best sellers, and up in the children's department where we put the very best, and then those will be used for the book sale. Then we take the ones that are sellable but older, we put them out for the last chapter. We'll hold them for the last chapter. Things, obviously, anything that's damaged gets thrown, and things that we just feel like we haven't moved or won't be able to move. Like once I put them on the last chapter, and after a while, I pull them out, and they go to more than words. So I think we have a really good system, and obviously, we'll hold those. I think we'll send those out, the invites one at a time. So if by the April 10th, at the end of that, if we're like just inundated and don't have room, then we probably wouldn't hold the last one. But we used to fill that box like every single day, and we managed to get through. So I think we'll be okay.
Can you list those dates one more time for us?
Absolutely. So starting this Saturday, the 13th, again on 27th, and then April, it'll be the 10th and the 24th.
Any other questions? If there are no questions, would someone like to move that we approve those dates as proposed? Christine?
I move to approve those dates for the book sale collection. The dates of March 13th and March 27th, and the dates of April 10th and April 24th.
Thank you, Christine.
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Any discussion? All in favor? I'll go around again. Sorry, old habits.
Oh, sorry.
Christine?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Catherine?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yep.
And Colin, yes, 5-0-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great news, such a great success.
Yeah, I think people are really, really looking forward to having us open it back up. People have been stirring their books for a while for us, so.
Excellent. Anything else, Janice?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty, super. Next, professional staff reports, Manny.
Thank you, Colin. So I was looking at Suzanne's purchases of items, and the one that stuck out was under DVD highlights, Alice in Wonderland with Cary Grant. I did not know that Cary Grant was in an Alice in Wonderland picture, so I had to look that up, and in fact, he was in a Alice in Wonderland movie. So I thought that was interesting.
How is it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I did watch a trailer on YouTube, and it's interesting. I do like Cary Grant. Under CD highlights, a couple of young new artists, Willie Nelson and Neil Young, have new material. So. And
I've
Bob
seen them
Dylan.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
I like that Neil Young is hearkening back to his roots, and it's an album that ties to Shakespeare.
Yes.
His contemporary?
Apparently.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting. But one thing I did want to mention under Tim, he is also the reference librarian, but he's also in charge of the tax forms, which we do have some tax forms at the library. We don't get all of them. We do get the Massachusetts booklet, and we get your 1040, 1040A, your common tax forms. But for the audience at home, if there is a specific tax form that you need, we can always print it out as well. So, yeah, so Tim's been working on that. He's been doing that every single year. So if you have gone to the library, Kathy does these wonderful displays on the ground floor, and her and Tracy Lorenz, they did a wonderful one for Valentine's Day, which is very nice. And up there right now is one as a Irish themed materials. So if you want to see that. Kathy also does the Foxborough Reporter columns. Margie Rossetti had done that. And when Margie retired, Kathy Belharney stepped up. And she's doing a great job with that. We were having a few issues with our microfilm machine. It has been repaired. It's all set. It's working. But we had it had to leave the building for a short period of time to get repaired. But it's back up and running for our patrons. And Jessica has just been dynamite when it comes to the programs. Just a few highlights here. During the February break, she had a couple of Zoom programs. She had Learn Magic with Malik. We had 36 Zoom attendees. We had Chocolate 101. That was for grades 5 through 8. We had 17 Zoom attendees. She's also been doing virtual elementary school visits. She did it with IGO, Taylor, and Burrell School, and she's doing more of those. I do want to also give props to Miss Casey. She's been doing on YouTube stories and songs, and if you had a chance to watch them, they're really great. She's currently attending library school to be a librarian, and I think she's going to be a wonderful librarian. And the YouTube videos, the story time and songs, are really cute. So I just want to give her, kudos for doing that. And to our audience around the world, if they want to see, it's on the Boyden Library YouTube page. You can find those links on our website, or just simply type in Boyden Library on YouTube.
Awesome. Thanks for highlighting all the great work of the team. All right, any questions on the staff reports, anybody?
I was just wondering if, Manny, and you may know, and I don't mean to say you may not know, but Kathy Belharney makes a reference in her report to Library Aware. Is that a software program, or what is that?
So yes, that is a software program. It will kind of archive various collections. It's something that some libraries use, and then there's other programs that are very similar to Library Aware. It's also something that she can do to send out promotional material. We have something called Canva, but you can also do that on Library Aware as well. Okay. She's able to attach all the emails from all our Boyden card holders to send out the email blitzes, as they call them, for like Friends book sales and stuff like that. It's like a smorgasbord of creative projects you can do for Library Aware. So yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to financial reports. Hey, Joyce, just want to say hello.
Hi. How are you? Sorry
for
late.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Good to have you. All right, financial reports. Mandy, anything you want to highlight in particular, or questions from the trustees?
I don't have anything in particular to highlight. We're just, marching on when it comes to purchasing materials. We're in March and fiscal year ends at the end of June. So some line items are already at 100%. Some are a little over 100%. And then there are some line items that we haven't touched yet, but we will before the end of the fiscal year. Usually bookbinding we do near the end of the fiscal year, but we've been dipping into that already too. So.
Any other questions, folks? All right, on to director's report, please.
Very short and sweet with my report. Completed the 2020 annual report that will be published before town meeting. So that was done. I do want to thank Janice. There you are. You helped out and had input for the Friends section, and Jessica as well, and Margie for the youth services portion. So that has been complete. Still attending Zoom meetings, doing the statewide director meetings on Wednesday, speaking with directors from all over the state, as well as representatives from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners and MLS, Massachusetts Library Systems, and just kind of getting a feel on where libraries are during this entire pandemic. Last week, there was a conversation about Dr. Seuss.
Of course.
Probably this week will be Pepe Le Pew, because it seems like it's that this week. So, we do talk about COVID. We do talk about vaccines until, we're blue in the face. But we do talk about other items and library issues, Dr. Seuss being one of them. And, just everything from snow removal. It's something that will probably continue after everything's back to normal. Because I think I don't get to see some of these colleagues only at conferences or if I shoot them an email. So it's nice seeing them because I've known them for many years. So it's good to keep in touch with them. There's a few members of the sales network that attends normally, myself and the director from Norfolk and Norton and a few others, Rehoboth, Lakeville. So we get to, explain what's going on with sales. But it's an hour and a half usually of just, sometimes it's getting suggestions. Sometimes it's just a way of shouting out your grief on what's going on, your frustration, and we're here to kind of counsel various directors saying it's going to be okay. And it's been great. There's also one specifically for sales, and there was one actually today. And that one's a little more, it's not as general as the statewide directors one, because now we're really dealing with matters at hand when it comes to sales business. So I attend that, and I guess we'll talk about it when we get to COVID. But it's there are some libraries that still haven't opened since last March, and then there's some that are finally going to open on Monday. So it's interesting what they're, some libraries like us have been open since July, and we've been really good. And then you had some libraries that have opened and then they closed, and now they're going to open again. And then you have some that have not been opened. So, that's something. As far as like any maintenance to the building, we did have our stairwell repainted. I'm going to have the painters come back and repaint the entire community room again. It's just years of wear and tear and pencil marks. Same thing in children's. There's a few areas that they need to touch up. So once we do have our community room open again, it'll be nice and spacious and looking good. So that's about it. Business as usual.
As usual. Any questions for me?
I did have one. Manny, in the past, the sales network has done a legislative breakfast. I'm assuming that's not happening this year, but I did see that there is the Mass Library Association is putting out a bunch of legislative days. I don't know if you've seen that, April 6th through the 8th, for discussion about the budget, I assume, from the state. So is that in lieu of the Sales Network Day, do you know, or is that?
You are absolutely correct. They have postponed the sales legislative breakfast. We're looking, because I'm on that committee. We'll have it again next January. We hosted it one year here at Boyden. So yeah, it did get postponed. And in lieu of that, there are going to be a select number of dates working with NBLC and also MLS and the MLA, speaking with our local legislators, going over the governor's budget, and just.
So I would just suggest this is going to be a really interesting fiscally post-COVID year, where it's actually for the state still in COVID, in terms of recovery, and revenue projections are starting already on the House and Senate level and with the administration that to question how robust funding will be going into fiscal year 2022. So as you are being made aware of those events, to the extent that you need any of us for support and to reiterate the benefits of the library services and the need for full funding on that budget, please let us know.
Thank you.
Keep us in the loop.
Manny, I had a question too. As you're opening up the rooms that were used or available to the public, do you have a guideline, or are you just going to wait until you can open them fully the way that they were before?
I'm going to wait because
Okay.
right now our community rooms are serving as quarantine
Mm-hmm.
areas. And I'll go over, actually, I have some news about quarantine as well that came from the state and the NBLC. But until the quarantine period is done,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to keep those rooms closed for any sort of indoor programming. I know Jessica has been working very hard at having children's programs all outside, and then working with the Foxborough JCs. She had a meeting with them today,
Mm-hmm.
doing some programs over at the town common.
Mm-hmm.
I think adult programs as well will be at the town commons. Maybe normally we have a Sunday concert series.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I know there's concerts on Thursday evenings as well, but maybe doing something, a couple during the summertime or late fall as well. So, I'm hoping that our community room is open in the fall, so we can have, not just us, but, the Historical Society would use our room, the Art Association. We would actually display local artists, their artwork, and we haven't been able to do any of that. We do have a quilt that was donated to us that we do showcase, and we have another mural or another painting coming that will showcase.
Mm-hmm.
But, we haven't had anything in there except for furniture and tables and books
Mm-hmm.
for a year now.
Well, it served you well too.
Mm.
So
It is. And to other libraries, the smaller libraries where they don't have the room like we do,
mm-hmm.
they have to quarantine items right on the floor, right in front of a circulation desk. There's just boxes of books that need to be quarantined. So we're very fortunate to have the space.
that's it. Thank you.
Yep.
Any questions for Manny? Yeah, thanks, Manny. Liaison reports and subcommittee reports. Anything on either of those to report? No reports on those reports. Okay. Old business. Website, Manny.
Sure. So last month we did meet with Evan with his company EBPRI, and there was a proposal for Evan's company to create a brand new website for the Boyden Library. And I know there was a question that Kevin addressed, and then I did reach out to Evan the following day. He did respond. And those services that Kevin was asking would be covered in the hosting contract, which I did forward to everybody, the website hosting agreement in an email. So I guess tonight, I have been in contact with him and said that, the trustees would discuss and vote on a, Evan's company creating a new website with us. If it is approved by the board this evening, I will give updates on, it's going to take, this won't be done within a week. This is going to take probably 2-3 months just to get the website up and running, getting input from the youth services librarian, from the Friends, basically from a lot of individuals, and obviously shown it to the trustees before anything goes live. And if a trustee, Catherine has been part of it. If she wants to continue and be a part of the Zoom meetings, or we can record the Zoom meetings, and I can send it out, the video, through an email. So this will take time. So if the board votes this evening, we'll go ahead. Or if there's any other questions, I'll try to answer. If not, I'll have to reach out to Evan again for his answer.
Questions folks have at this point? All right, hearing none, do we want to take a vote to approve moving forward? I'd like to make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Kevin.
Second it.
Second by Catherine. All in favor of proceeding with the website as proposed. So Christine.
Yes.
Deb.
Yep, yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Catherine.
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes.
And Colin, yes. 6-0-0. Excellent. That'd be fantastic.
Thank you. And Catherine, I'll keep you part of the email loop, and then I'll send the board the videos and everything, discussing with Evan.
Okay.
So.
All right. Update on COVID and library ops.
Yeah, just I joke about this when I see it on the agenda, that I think we'll be talking about this 12 months from now as well. But a few new things that have come up within the past month. The governor, with work with the reopening committee and the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, they've kind of updated when it comes to libraries, their safety standards. As far as social distancing, capacity limits, the only thing new about that, I believe I discussed it last month, was occupancy up to 50%. We're still at 20%, and we haven't even gotten to capacity at 20%. So I just think we should just remain at 20%. One thing that was added in the guidelines, and I can share this with the board, I'll send it out. They're asking that each library monitor patron entries and exits for occupancy. We've been doing that since the beginning with help of either staff or volunteers, so we'll continue to do that. The only other new thing that came up was quarantine of items. So when this all started, the quarantine, this was based on various studies, was 72 hours that items needed to be quarantined. So that has been updated to 24 hours. So items now only need to be quarantined for a day, essentially. And then they can be checked in by staff and added back to our collection, or going out through our transit again to another library. So that was the only other new item in that. Everything else, 6 feet apart. Everything else is the same. But those are the two items that have popped up, was the monitor, and we've been doing that with the capacity at 50%, and now the quarantine only needs to be 24 hours. So, but besides that, like I said, there are some libraries that are opening up. There are some that still don't intend opening up until July. So, we just keep on doing what we're doing. I think, not tonight, but I'm thinking in the future, near future, maybe we start discussing increasing our hours. So, again, not tonight. I'm not prepared to I'd like to speak to staff first, but once it starts to get warmer, maybe May, June, maybe we go back to our old schedule where we're open 4 evenings, Monday through Thursday. Saturday, Friday, and Saturday is already, we're at our schedule right now. So that's about it.
And we'll look forward to discussing that as we get another month or so out.
Yeah, as long as everything's going well. I mean, right now it seems like we're in. The state came out, I believe, today, and there's only 17 communities that are considered or in the red high risk, and Foxborough is not one of them, which is great. Mm-hmm. So the numbers here have been going down. In my community, we're considered still high risk and in the red, and those numbers haven't dropped. But up here, they have been dropping, which is great. Even Attleboro as well. Then they weren't on the list. That's good.
Good. Christine, you got a question?
I just had a question for Manny. So, do you plan to do the 24-hour quarantine? Do you plan to implement that soon, or is that something?
So yes, I do. During the sales meeting today, that was brought up for discussion, and it was overwhelming at how many libraries have gone to the 24 hours already. Mm-hmm. This just started as of March the 1st. So there are libraries locally here that have already done the 24 hours already, and some that are about to do it. The libraries that aren't open, they're not doing it yet. So they're still being very cautious, like Rentham's one of them. So yeah, start with that, 24 hours.
Thank you.
Other questions? Other questions? Good. Any other, just one other thing I wanted to touch upon before we adjourn, but any other topics for us to touch upon today?
Colin, did you pull your papers?
I did. I'm ready to return
Joyce?
tomorrow.
Okay, good. All right.
Yes, I realized I was muted, but I did.
Joyce, did you end up pulling papers for the 2-year seat or the 3-year seat?
2 years. That was how it was prepared.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was an option for 3.
Yeah. No, I think that's the right thing when you pulled them. And because Deb has made the decision not to run. I'm not sure, and maybe other folks in the call may know this better than I do, whether if the vacant 3-year seat goes unfilled, mm-hmm. whether upon the completion of the elections, whether Joyce can actually
fulfill the 3?
No. Joyce would need to resign from the position she's being elected to be appointed to the 3-year seat, to then run again next year to fill the remainder of the vacancy. Whatever she's pulled the papers for is the one that she will serve to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
It's good to know.
Yeah. You always got to run either way, I guess, for the extra. So that being the case, I think regardless, actually being the case, the other topic I wanted to mention, Manny already brought us to, which is the elections, and we have now a seat that is unlikely to have a candidate for it for that seat in upcoming elections. Although Kevin, you think you're about to say something?
I was going to say, unless all of Foxborough watching tonight just writes in Tom McGee or Deb Stone, yes.
It's not too late. I'll buy the social media ads. We'll make this happen. So time for us as a board of trustees and extend to our friends, the Foxborough Library, to help us think about candidates who may be appropriate to join, like the wonderful trustees we've had in the past, to join us in serving the community in these roles. So if you can begin to put on your thinking caps and your outreach to folks who may be appropriate, that we can hopefully welcome someone to the board early soon after the election cycle to join us. I know it's always challenging. And Joyce, we had the same challenge with you as we went into the summer months right away, and then I think, the extra complication of the COVID situation. So anyhow, there's my pitch. Janice.
When do papers have to be taken out by?
Next week.
Oh, okay.
Back, taken out, or returned?
Both. I believe the takeout and return deadline are the same day.
Huh.
Okay.
So it's a week from yesterday, I guess, 15th.
15th.
It's been a whole new fun activity driving around Foxborough getting signatures. I get to see people. It was wonderful. All right. Anything else on the elections that we should, now that we have the eyes and ears of the entire free world watching this broadcast, or the 8 people here now watching school committee. All righty. With nothing else earth-shattering today, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Penders, and seconded by Ms. Uden. All in favor? Christine?
Aye. Yes.
Aye. Deb?
Yes.
Catherine?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And Colin, yes. 6:00, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Manny. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Janice. And thank you, Paul, at Foxborough Cable Access. And go switch over to the school committee.